Namaste. I'm Indira Reddy. I'm the president and founder of Telangana Bee Hub Society. Today we are here to discuss more importance of honeybees in natural farming. So there's a saying that by Albert Einstein that no more bees, no more pollination, and no more plants, no more animals, and no more man. So if we lose honeybees, we lose food and we lose mankind within 4 years. So this is very thought provoking. Why these honeybees are very important in biodiversity, and why bees are so important for food security, and why without bees we cannot survive, and why mankind vanishes within 4 years of time. So today I am here to discuss all the important aspects of the honeybees, how to save them, how these bees enhance the crop yield, also how they can enhance our income as a farmer, as an unemployed youth, as a tribal woman, or in from the rural background, so or in case urban beekeepers as well. So if we lose the bees, we lose the habitat and we lose the food. Out of every 100 crops, 80% of the crops need pollination for pulses, cereals, dry fruits, fruits and vegetables, and all the ground flora as well, wildflowers. So if we lose bees, pollination is not done and we lose all those crops and we will be left only with rice and wheat and cash crops, so which we cannot survive. So it is our time, it is a time to increase the honeybees population, and all these years we have been using pesticides, and now we have to shift from chemical farming to natural farming so that we increase the biodiversity, we improve the quality of the food, improve the quality of the soil, then food security to the whole nation. So when we think about bees, we think about only the honey. But in honeybees, we have more than 20,000 bees species in the world. But what we commonly see is Apis mellifera, Apis cerana, Dorosetta, Florea, and Damer or Melipona bees which lives in colonies. These bees collect honey. And when we come to each species, some bees are used for pollination and some for commercial purpose. So when we see about this Apis mellifera, these are non-local, they are from Italy, European bees, and they are gentle and they are used for commercial purpose. But it enhances the crop yield because its probatic tongue sucks the pollen and nectar, and it improves the crop yield as well. But it is difficult for a farmer to keep them in the farm and to keep migrating them from one crop to another. For that, we need to have continuous flora, one crop after the other, and we have to maintain the proper calendar so that these bees will be kept in our farms. But we have other bees from our native, that is Apis cerana. They resist from all kinds of diseases and they can protect themselves from these bee eaters every year during the winter season, especially from November to February. They are around to eat these bees or all the pollinators which are flying in the air. But this Serena indica easily escapes from diseases as well as these predators. Then Apis dorsata, their natural habitat, they live on the trees in the open places. They build giant combs and they are very aggressive. So we think that this bees means they attack us and we die. But we also have gentle bees like Mellifera, Serena, Florea and Damer bees which are very useful for pollination, and we also can collect the honey in the natural farming to double our income. And we also have bumblebees. They are fatter and they help pollinate the vegetables, especially the tomatoes. And we can see the Damer bee or Melifona and Trigona, it is called, very small. They are stingless, but they are very much useful for pollinating mango orchards and all the other fruit and herbal plants, so that we can collect the honey. Also, we pollinate all such crops. So this Dorosetta is not advisable to keep we cannot keep them in the farm in the hives. They are naturally, they have to be grown. But where else we can keep Mellifera, Serena and Damer bees or Melipona in small hives. We can keep them in the farm so that we can enhance our crop yield. Also, we can collect the honey from this and also some byproducts from these beehives by keeping them in the apiary, that is called apiary, Apis mellifera. is Apis is bees. So bees, when we keep in the farm, they not only pollinate, they increase the diversity of the crops, they increase the ground flora and wild plant population also, because when wild plant population increases, pollen and nectar is available, then the population of these natural pollinators also increase. We think that pollination only for the fruit bearing or vegetables or dry fruits, other cereals and pulses and oil seeds, but also we have to see that these bees are around to pollinate all the wild flowers like wild mustard, wild sesame, then other tridax and other wild flowers around. So these bees are very much important, as more than 70% we have lost its population, and now we are finding difficulty in pollination. So we can start off with a small beehive who has already started natural farming. We can deploy them happily so that we increase the quality of the seed, increases the quality of the fruit setting, and the size also increases and yield increases from almost 2% to 200% in every crop, especially the oil seeds. It enhances up to 200 times in sunflower, mustard, sesame, safflower and other oil seeds. And pulses also we need pollination, and fruits and vegetables also we need lot of pollination, as we have very less habitat around and pollinators are not available. So we can start off with a small beehive in the farm. And we also have solitary bees. When we are improving the quality and developing the wild weeds around, the solitary bees like carpenter bees, leaf cutter bees, mining bees, cuckoo bees, these other pollinators which pollinate on the open face flowers, also other white color bees which pollinate all the other wild flowers and these crops, and mining bees, they live inside the ground. So they all are effective pollinators. We think that only Dorosetta and other Serena indica, but we have other solitary bees which live in small habitat. They don't live in big colonies. Like these bees, they almost live 50,000 to 60,000 in one beehive, whereas these are solitary bees. Few bees only live together. These are all pollinators. When we maintain the ground flora and we have diversified crops in our farm, then these bees will be improved and increase the pollination, and also it enhances the crop yield. So we can see common bees which we see around like Apis cerana. Then in the middle you can see this is called Melipona. It is very small in size but very effective pollinator, and its honey is very expensive. Even some areas they are even selling for up to 10,000 rupees per kg. It collects very less, but in Ayurveda we use such honey. Also we have Apis cerana, Florea and Mellifera. These bees we deploy in the commercial crops. We are seeing little residues, but when we collect honey from the forest where pesticides effect is very less, we can collect the best honey. So when we save this ground flora and we develop this habitat where we can increase the population of these beehives, we can see the production of honey also around. So we can see that in Apis cerana, but when we keep them in the farm, it enhances all the crop and trees, plants, vegetables, and it increases not only pollination but we can also collect the honey. And when you see on the Mellifera, they are commercial, we have to migrate them or we have to make available crops around. This Mellifera, they travel about 2 to 5 kilometers for foraging, and whereas Serena, it travels about 1 kilometer to 2 kilometers. So we don't have to just see around our farm, think that ours is only a small farm of 2 acres or 3 acres or 1 hectare, but these bees travel around up to 2 kilometers. So around also they can collect the bee pollen and nectar and they survive very well. We have to keep these under the shade so that they don't swarm, because Serena indica are very delicate. When it is very hot or any disturbance or any pesticide effect, these bees also they tend to swarm away. So we have to see that they are kept in a secured cooler place and under the shade so that they don't migrate, they don't swarm away. So because of lack of honeybees, we are seeing in many places, in our place like Kashmir apples, every year farmers are deploying these beehives in their orchards to enhance the crop yield. Otherwise earlier the fruit was very small and flower was dropping and the quality and sweetness is not much. But after deploying the beehives, the fruit size has increased, the flower dropping has declined, and the increase in population is there. So we can see almond orchards in Canada or in China where their major income will be from almond exports. But during 2006, because of no bees, no pollination, and their yield in almonds has drastically dropped. But after knowing this, they collaborated with the beekeepers, and the beekeepers they take all their beehives on their truck semi loaded and deploy there till the flowering stage, and after the flowering stage is completed they take back their beehives to the other areas where flowering is there. So this is the time we have to awake, we have to save the bees by stopping the spraying the pesticides. So you can see the pollination, bees contribute 80% of the pollination in all the crops because of its structure, because of its morphology. So you can see on every crop like mustard, it is almost increasing by 200 times, whether it is rye or rapeseed or niger, coffee also from 16 to 18%. Then all the other fruits also we can see 100 to 200%, even some 1000% and even 10,000% in some crops. So if no pollination, the flower stage itself it is dropping. We have to stop the spraying of these pesticides. So beekeeping as agro-based livelihood, we think that bees are only for pollination and honey, but also we have 6 other byproducts. So bees pollinate all the wildflowers, so it is increasing the biodiversity and it also increases the income of the farmer. Also any beekeeper who is coming into this beekeeping for their livelihood, especially the tribals who are dependent on forest produce, and there are many encroachment areas where these tribals are not allowed, restricted or reserved places where they can keep these beehives near. By talking to the local officials and taking their permission, they can deploy the beehives there, they can collect the best honey, and that forest honey also has very good price in the market. So we also have to collaborate with them, grow tree friendly plants and grow nurseries where this bee friendly plants, especially like maua, moringa, then soap nut, shikakai and gooseberry, these are all wild fruits which not only collects honey from these flowers, but also it creates livelihood because maua it is rich in potassium and iron. Tribal women they have lack of nutrition, so it is a best source because there is a lot of demand for maua oil, maua laddus and other byproducts which they make from these maua flower. Also moringa leaves which also has iron and potassium. So this kind of plantation if we go grow in these areas, so local officials can motivate them to grow such plants in the nurseries and plant them around this forest or wherever the open places and buffer zones are there near the forest, so that these tribal women they can have these hives in their house itself because they travel about kilometer and two. They can collect the best honey and we can make some clusters and group of women they can all do it together, keeping each few hives like 5 hives or 10 hives in their own home, and they can collect the honey and bring all the honey together and they can sell it in their village name or that society name. So that will be an additional income, and not only increases a livelihood but we are also increasing the biodiversity because we are saving the bees and we are deploying the bees there. They are pollinating all the wildflowers and all the forest plantation, so increase in the biodiversity and economic diversity also. And they can collect the bee wax because in tribal areas there are other people who make brass items. For them it is a bee wax is a raw material, so they don't have to buy from other source, so they can source this bee wax from their own community. So this is also because out for every 10 kgs of brass they are using 1 or 2 kgs of wax for making of molds. So this will be a raw material for their produce, so it is also an additional income. So we think that we only collect wax and honey, but epitherapy is the best source. It heals almost 40 types of diseases. So this kind of epitherapy we can collect it directly through some machines. Also we can collaborate with the Ayurveda and Homeo to use this bee venom in healing many types of diseases. So such trainings, we can collaborate with the professional beekeepers to train tribals, women and other unemployed, to get them trained and to collect this venom, so that pharma companies and cosmetic companies also a great demand, and this women can easily do in the villages and in the tribal areas, and those areas we can collect the best royal jelly and bee pollen, because near to the forest it is not much affected with chemical farming, and we have planted such bee friendly trees where we can easily collect bee venom, royal jelly, including the bee wax and bee pollen. Pollen is a protein for the honey bees and it is protein for us. It heals almost 40 types of diseases and best nutritional source and best super food we can say. So this bee pollen also when we collected, and it each 1 kg is costing between 700 to 1500 to 2000 depending on the which flora and which season we are collecting. Such equipment also will be provided. So local officials, they can contact with National Bee Board to get such information and get proper trainings, so that the beekeepers collect this byproducts from the honey bees, and we are also developing the biodiversity in and around the rural areas and the tribal areas and urban areas as well. So we can see some case studies where chemical farming those are doing, then when we convert into non-chemical farming, because chemical farming is very expensive on soil, on our health, on biodiversity, and we are declining all the bee pollinators, and because we are losing the natural habitat and bees, and we are increasing the cost, we are decreasing the soil. So instead when we convert into non-chemical farming, so we cut costs on chemicals, we are increasing biodiversity when we are using this pollination naturally by bees and other natural pollinators, because in our farm it is 8 acres of lemon orchard, so there is gap between plant to plant. So in between we allowed these weeds like wild mustard, wild tridax and sesame, such natural wild plants we allowed them to grow, and we used to take only clear the weeds around the plant, so that these bees get lot of foraging on these wildflowers, and they have pollinated all these wildflowers and their habitat has increased tremendously. So in this particularly lemon orchard, we can see all kinds of bees, and this is we left nature is natural farming is leaving to the nature, it heals itself. When we human intervention is very less, and we have animals in the farm, especially the cows, because they graze around, sheep also they graze around, so they cut cost on the labor, and their excreta is used for as natural bio fertilizer. So we are not bringing any external inputs, so we use it within inside, and only when which are really unwanted, those plants only we remove them, so that it is a natural farming and integrated farming. So we collect milk, and sheep when they are very small they grow, and the price is also very good, like 1 kg is 900 rupees, 800 to 900 rupees. So sheep we at least keep 10, and now 3 are pregnant, then we are multiplying the sheep, so that is additional income. And cow also every year one new baby comes out, so that cow population is also increasing. So from because of the pollination, from every lemon orchard one tree we collect 2 times the yield, at least 1500 to 2000 fruit is set, and the size is also so big that it is equal to 4 other lemon when we see outside with chemical farming. This is very natural and it tastes good. Nutritional values are more, improving soil fertility, then biodiversity has increased, they are healing themselves. So in the non-chemical farming, we are reducing the cost, increasing the ground flora, improving the soil fertility, when all these wild plants also are nitrogen fixing plants, and they are increasing the biodiversity. So it is a, we think that we are going back to the roots, to having animals in the integrated farming and multi-cropping. So this is another case study. He is Mr. Vijay Reddy. He is in Shamshabad. So he is also a natural farmer. Nature has to heal. So he doesn't bring any external input. When he took the 4.5 acres of land, open land, he sowed the groundnut. When pest had come and started eating, then he left it open. Then to eat these predators had come, then birds have come. Naturally only this pest control has happened, and now he has more than 400 mango trees and other fruit bearing plants, and he grows 1 acre of paddy and 1 acre of pulses and oil seeds. So he doesn't buy anything from outside. So he has hen, he has sheep and cow. So this is a proper integrated farming where sustainability of agriculture is there, and also continuous flora and pollination is there, and he also collects 2 to 3 kgs in each season. He also has 1 acre of moringa. So best moringa honey in the market, it can sell up to 800 to 1000 rupees. So that's an additional income for him. Also his mango size is also very much, and the fruit is also very tasty when we compare to chemical farming and which are ripened with other pesticides. So this fruit nutritional values are good, the size of the fruit is good, and it is very tasty, and yield is also very high. So he is following the natural farming where nature only has to heal. When human intervention is not there, the nature will heal itself. So we can see beekeeping, it's not just for pollination, but you can see Jagpal Singh, he's from Punjab. Earlier he started with 30 beehives, then increased to 300. Now he maintains more than 10,000 beehives, and he exports to other countries. Now he is a millionaire. He has that job satisfaction that he gives bees for pollination, where seed setting is there, and it is increasing the crop yield, and also he is collecting the best honey, bee pollen and other bee products. So you can take his example from a small beekeeper to a exporter. So he's a live example where he's earning in millions, and we can see that once he was carrying honey in complete one train, where this goods train, so that much honey he collects and he exports also. So we can get training, inspiration from such experienced beekeepers. And what are the threats for all these? Because first thing is pesticides. So as a local officials, we have to educate farmers about disadvantages of using the pesticides and weedicides and fungicides, and motivate the farmers to more of adapting to the natural farming where income is there. They are increasing the crop yield, because nowadays instead of quantity, we have to see the quality of the fruit, because nutritional values are more in the seed which are native, and when we don't use the pesticides, so that quality is exported to other countries, and people also are interested to buy more non-chemical farming fruits, vegetables and pulses, because that has more shelf life, that can be given more price to them also. Then because of using chemical pesticides, we are losing local habitat. For that we have to identify these places where buffer zones are there, and open lands, and where they are growing nurseries, to encourage in such places to grow saplings, and during the monsoon we can plant them, so that local farmers and unemployed can get income from such plants like moringa, soap nut, or even neem. And because of the climate change, also we see the decline in the honeybees. So that also, when we deploy such beehives around the village or near to the forest, naturally this habitat will improve. They are also getting acclimatized. But these plants, when they increase, when the flowers are increasing, fruits are increasing, then birds also get food from that. So birds also increase, so eat these pests and control the pests. So natural habitat will have to improve by having these beehives there. And parasites and diseases which are there, it is not much in our native honeybees, only we can see them in the Italian bees or mellifera, when they had to be migrated more. But for with native honeybees, such diseases and parasites also were very less. And monocrop is a major issue where we have to make the farmers understand to increase the multi-cropping and diversify the crops, because we have to go back to our roots. When we 100 years back, we always used to grow with chana and wheat and vegetables. So mixed cropping was always there. So this pest attack also will be very less, and we don't have to use the pesticides because there is diversification of these crops. And pollution, especially in the rural areas, we see very less. So there we can grow more of these vegetables. And monocrop, when it is there, we are still double the paddy is there, but we are importing like oil seeds and pulses. So we can motivate the farmers to grow the diversify the crops, so that our own villages or for ourselves we can be self-sustained. And poor beekeeping practices, because those are doing commercial beekeeping while migrating, while collecting honey, not collecting hygienically, and while collecting from the forest, from the wild comb. This wild hunters, they don't collect it hygienically. They just put the smoke or fire them, so that complete colony is getting declined, and they are squeezing it out, so we don't get the best honey. It is not hygienic. So we have to make use of this national schemes, where under honey mission, for training there is budget, for giving beehives there is a budget, there are other tools and equipment for disease management, for testing tools, for packing, marketing also. There are so many schemes in the National Honey Mission, MIDH. So along with the horticulture and other nodal agencies, we can send a proposal to the agencies and bring the budget and try to implement them in the ground level, so that this population can be increased, this beekeeping can be made as a profession. And in the natural farming, beehives will be provided in subsidized prices, so we can avail these schemes, so that these guidelines can be followed, and it will be useful for all the farmers, and they can make this as substitute income also. And cell towers also, we have to see that they are away from the village and forest areas, so this habitat will be saved. And bee eaters, there is an issue, but this native honeybees easily survive from these bee eaters that in November to February migrate from other cool places in India. But keeping these beehives in the open areas where trees and wires are not there, there when we deploy, they need nesting places, or when they catch these bees, they have to sit on some place and they have to kill them and remove their sting, then eat. So open areas are suggested there. So it is all manageable, but when we do the multi-cropping and diversifying the crops and tree plantation in the buffer areas, will increase the population of the honeybees. So contribution of beekeeping practices to increase bee population. So one thing is plant diverse crops. So everywhere we are seeing monocrops. So we have to see that farmers are motivated, given trainings to them regularly about the importance of diversifying the crops for the sustainable agriculture. And bees play a vital role, land, labor, capital organization, and we need bees, importance of honey bees in natural farming, so that we cut down the costs on pesticides and chemical fertilizers. And naturally, when we developing the ground flora and wild flora, the population increases. And creating the pollinator habitats, so where we have already discussed, like identify the buffer zones, open areas, and near to the villages, wherever possible, plant bee friendly trees. There is a link given below by KVIC. Crop calendar is there in that. Also, what kind of plants and trees are suitable for bees, and especially for oil seeds, pulses. We not only collect honey, but also pollination increases. So in natural farming, multiple cropping with less pesticides, no pesticides, and have deploying the beehives there will enhance the income and pollination services. Then pollination increases the yield of the each crop. So we providing nesting. So wherever these open areas are there, we can leave these logs or open areas to let these wild trees grow, so that they get enough foraging for pollen and nectar, so that their population also increases. And bee friendly plants plant wherever possible is used for both livelihood as well as bee friendly plants. So in natural farming, around the fencing or near to the open areas, and we leave some place for this bee friendly plants, so that increase the bees population naturally even without deploying the beehive. So even if we leave this ground flora, they can get easily pollen and nectar, so that their population increases, and whenever this crop is in flowering stage, they naturally pollinate, so that the chemical pesticides they don't have to use anymore. So promoting diversity, so in that all seasons we have to see that plants are planted where seasonal plants are there, where flowers are available, that is nectar and pollen are available for foraging throughout year in each season, like summer, winter and rainy. And wherever possible, integrated farming, we just till the land and encourage the farmers to grow, diversify the crops, or put all those nitrogen fixing plants like chop and drop, so that they naturally use it for improving the soil fertility, so that they can use it as a bio soil fertilizers also will be decreased. And we have to continuously monitor, educate, give trainings about the natural farming, the importance of natural farming, and how bees are important for farmers to increase the population of habitat and other wild plants. So regularly conduct the trainings to the farmers and other workers in the nearby the rural farmers and tribals about the importance of the honey bees and how to collect them without damaging the bees in the forest areas or wherever we see them, to deploy the beehive in the natural farming and encourage them to grow and give more inputs and success stories to share with them. All the schemes are implemented in the local areas, and we can take help of other NGOs and other social workers. Those are working for the farmers, collect the data regularly and see that natural farming is implemented successfully. And natural farming, this year government has many schemes, each training sessions this local officials also has to take and see that these government schemes are implemented in the ground level and it reaches to all the farmers and it benefits the farmers, ecosystem, biodiversity. And when we are doing this, our exports also will increase and our national income also increases, and our honey exports also from last 4-5 years we can see that 24% has increased. When honey is collected from such non chemical farms, so it gets better price and our national income also improves. So in integrated farming, importance of honey bees are crucial, and first thing is we have to maintain the ground flora or grow clover alpha alpha, so that flowers which are there will be helped for the attracting of honey bees naturally, or keep a beehive and grow, diversify the crops, so that bee pollen and nectar is available throughout year and its population is increased. So natural farming is not possible without the bees. So no more bees, no more pollination, no more food security. So bees play a very vital role in natural farming. So we have to save them, we have to increase the biodiversity, and for all this government schemes are available. We have to get educated and see that all the schemes are implemented in the ground level. Thank you.